Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So we've got a bit of a different video coming up for you today. We're down in Sablazy in Cornwall in my mate's shed. We've got a few little project updates for you. What have we got, Adam? We've got a Triumph Daytona 99955i. And he's just recently rebuilt a 125 sort of scooter, is it?
Yeah, just the what do they call it? The Lexmoto Tommy.
Lexmoto Tommy. So he's done a top end refresh on that. So we're going to go around the shed. I'm going to show you what he's currently up to at the moment. And yeah, so if you like this sort of video and you're interested in it, stick around. This is my good friend Adam, aka Spudders. So this is the Triumph he's been working. This is his latest project. Tell us a little bit about this, Adam.
So this is the 1997 Triumph Daytona with the 955 engine in. I bought it for next to nothing, and basically it was the crustiest bloody bike that you've ever seen. So I've just been working through the parts. So
bear in mind, this was a non-runner. So this was a 350 pounds non-running motorcycle.
You're not supposed to tell him that.
Oh, but so I thought you said about the price.
What you can say about the price?
Yeah, so
it's 350 quid.
350 pounds non-runner. I think she's been outside for
about 3 years.
3 years in all weathers. So she's a little bit weathered herself, isn't she? Yeah.
Most definitely, most definitely.
So what did you need to do to get up and running? What was the process of thinking of to get her up and running? Let's grab the camera and let's have a little. Let's go around and have a little look.
So obviously I started with needed to see whether or not there was any fuel or whatever in it.
Yeah.
So obviously I came along, it being, move this thing out of the way, it being quite crusty. I tried obviously to put the key in, there was nothing, there was no, it wouldn't even turn basically. So I hit it with a lot of WD-40,
yeah,
or as you chaps in the States like to call it, the PB Blaster.
Yes, that's good stuff. That I don't know what's better, WD-40 or PB Blaster. I
don't know. I just like sort of. I'd like to have a try with PB Blaster, but we can't get it over here.
Yeah.
So I'll have to just order it on the net. Anyway. Cut a long story short. Tried to get that going. So anyway, managed to get it open, as you can see now. So it all works lovely. It's all very clean inside. You wouldn't believe, let's get some light in there so they can see it. See
the tank. So this is the sort of thing you're going to be expecting to if you buy a project bike. This is where it's at. This is what you're going to be faced with. You couldn't even get the petrol filler cap off. Oh yeah, she's clean in there. She is clean. So that's going to save you a job, really, though, isn't it?
Yeah, saved a hell of a job. Obviously, being a plastic tank helped.
Oh, it's plastic. Yeah, so that's why there's no rust in there.
Yeah, but what it done, obviously, with the old fuel and being left out in the rain,
yeah,
you get a little bit of water seepage going into the tank anyway, regardless of how many people think that those overflow pipes actually work.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of seepage of water in, and the actual fuel pump was completely rotten. It was just completely knackered. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off the tank quickly.
Yeah.
And then
we'll bring you back when he's got the tank off. So while he's fucking around trying to get the fucking tank off, I'll show you a few of his other little projects he's got on the go. I didn't mention is what do you call it, Adam? Hardley Davidson.
Hardly a Davidson.
Hardly a Davidson.
Suzuki
So basically, he picked this up. He swapped it for a Kawasaki Zephyr, which was another non-runner. So that was so it was kind of a crude security system, wasn't it? That Kawasaki in the day, with the little 20p resistor under the clocks. So I'll turn you around and I'll show you his Hardly a Davidson. Here it is, look. Hardly a Davidson. So this is a Suzuki Maruda. What was it? 800cc. 800cc monster. So as you can see, it's got the. Is that a Sportster front end, Adam?
That's actually the standard front end.
Right. Okay.
But it's got a Sportster wheel.
Right. So Harley Davidson Sportster wheel. It's got the old triple lights at the front. Now this fucking thing sounds loud. So he's had a few issues with this. Most of it related to the clutch. So these come out of the factory. Is it weak clutch springs?
Yeah. Well, over time, the clutch springs in any bike kind of go a bit crap.
Yeah.
But they've always kind of come out of the factory with like sort of under load. I mean, like sort of doing 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then you want to like either take over a car or something, or just weave through. But and then it just like sort of you go and it goes and then it kind of slips a little bit.
Yeah. So what did you do to remedy the problem?
So
Skulls.
is it EDM?
EBC.
EBC. Sorry.
EBC.
EBC supply. They supply clutch springs which are 15% stronger than the originals.
Right. Okay.
Which gives obviously 15% more pressure.
So pressure by pushing the cushion springs down onto the flywheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says it's slipping a little bit. So he's done that. He's had all the clutch out and stuff. Put the new springs in. It's touch wood. It seems to be doing okay, isn't it, Adam?
Yeah. It resolved the issue. Obviously, I've replaced the clutch plates and the all the other bits and bobs that relate to all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, seems to be fine now. I'm actually toying over the fact whether or not to move this one on or either keep it or.
So if you fancy yourself a Harley Davidson, message me up in the comments. We can maybe sort out a little deal. Yes. Right, so we're going to have a little look around the Triumph, like a little bit of a close-up, like just have a look at the frame, see what you're going to expect if you're going to buy a project bike with, you know, that's been sitting out in all the weathers, like. So I'll give you a little close-up.
And take that one off as well.
So this is the famous Triumph Triple. So very distinctive sound. So the frame's obviously a bit weathered, but it's nothing this man's not capable of doing. It looks like she's had a bit of a jaded past. It come from, was it a lady owner? It's always a lady owner, isn't it?
No, well, yes and no. Like, I think it was loved at one stage.
Yeah.
And I think maybe she ran into a couple of problems that maybe she couldn't resolve. Maybe she had like some friends that maybe had a look and they couldn't resolve it.
So how did you manage to get this started?
So first, obviously the first things was the tank. So I've taken the tank off now.
Yeah.
I've now taken off the air box so you can see it.
Was the fuel pump priming when you
No.
got it? Right. Okay. So how did you remedy that?
So I had to order a new fuel pump.
Right. Okay.
From our friends on eBay.
Fleabay.
Then fitted the new fuel pump because the old one was it was seized. The old one was completely knackered.
Yeah.
And it was just running through the steps. Obviously, fuel. You need air. You need spark. You need compression.
Yeah.
With them four, and you're well away.
Did you do a compression test on this?
No.
Right, okay.
I didn't have to do a compression test because from experience of owning these triples, when you turn them over, it was turning over when I first got the bike.
Yeah. So that's a good start, isn't it? You know, getting a bike that's been laid up to have it turn over.
It was turning over, but you can hear that the compression was there. Yeah, granted, I could have done a compression test. I should have done one, maybe. I've got the tester and everything, so, but to be fair, for 350 quid, I was just like, if it don't work, I'll just sell it on as parts.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have made
so you had your money back in parts, basically, didn't you?
Oh, definitely, you'll get your money back.
So what year is this one, Adam?
1997.
So 1997. So it's fuel injected. It's not carbureted. So obviously that adds, you know, a few complications, doesn't it, with the fuel injection system? It's not as straightforward.
Just a little bit.
So obviously there's no choke on this. You know, it's all, you know, automatic choke and stuff. So although it is, what do you say, 1997, she still has got quite a bit of tech in her, hasn't she? Like,
I think back when Triumph made these, especially this year,
yeah,
they kind of over-engineered everything. So like, sort of everything's just a bit more robust.
Yeah.
But when, obviously as years went on, they started failing in different areas, like the frames would crack and all that. It's only just due to the fact that they didn't put enough engineering as they did on this model into their next models.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Triumph engines are probably one of the strongest engines I've ever worked on. I had one where the chain came off and actually broke the where the clutch housing is.
Yeah.
And oil went everywhere and it was still peeing out oil. I had to pull into a garage and then I was topping up oil as I was riding home. So every like 2.5 miles, I'll then put like another, as the Americans call it, put another quart in, and then I'll ride on another couple of miles. It will still pee out, but it still managed to get me home, which is unreal for a motorbike engine.
Not like the Chinese bikes of today.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
So she's on
37 grand.
37,000 miles. We might even get a start up if he's feeling in the mood. We might even get a start up in a minute. So new fuel pump.
Yeah, new fuel pump.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. Fuel done. Tick off the list. Done.
So obviously you can turn it over. You can keep cycling the key to get the pressure in the fuel lines. You can do that, 5-6 times just to make sure you've got, delivery of that fuel into those cylinders. Like, so it's worth, definitely. If you've got a bike like this and you're struggling to get it 9 times out of 10, fuel is one of the biggest problems, isn't it?
Most definitely, and also with these, with the fuel, if the fuel pump doesn't engage, it's all tied in with the ignition system as well. So if that doesn't engage, you
ain't gonna get no spark.
You ain't gonna get no spark.
You ain't gonna get no spark. Yeah. So just have a little close up of the old wheels there. So obviously they're going to be due for a refurb. Obviously some new tyres. Obviously the standard thing back these days was to cut this off and do the old tail tidy stuff. So yeah, definitely. So you've got some plans to put some sequential indicators?
Sequential indicators,
yeah. So the ones that just go
bit more modern day, bit like an Audi.
Bring it up to a bit modern specs. So we've got a Venom tailpipe, and it looks like, is that a straight through system, Adam?
Yeah, straight through stainless exhaust,
yeah.
All the way stainless, right to the headers.
Yeah. So she's going to be loud. Oil cooler there as well, but you can see, it's going to need a bit of work to get her MOT standard, and if you want to looking like something, you're going to have to put the bloody work in to get her up to the standard, eh?
Most definitely.
Right, so going back to getting this bike started. So obviously you put a new fuel pump on. You went through all the relays.
Yeah.
So, and then what did you find next? That was, you couldn't...
So basically I pulled out the coil pack, which is, they got separate coil packs if you want to have a look down on there on the top of the engine.
Yeah.
So obviously you got, instead of having obviously separate coils in your leads and all the old gubbins, you've got a coil pack which controls, that is your coil and your HD lead all in one.
Yep, so your high tension lead.
So I pulled that out, put the spark plug on the end, earthed them out onto the engine.
Yeah.
Which then obviously I had no spark. Went through absolutely everything. There was one thing I found which was basically the problem, other than an earth not being connected. The crankshaft sensor, where on the end of the crank you've got a circular pickup, a bit like it's just like a small disc with teeth going all the way around the outside.
Yeah.
As the engine spins, the crankshaft sensor is really close. I mean, like silly close to it.
It's like a credit card gap, isn't it? Is it that?
Yeah,
Is it
if that? If
like
that.
an air gap they call it,
Yeah.
don't they?
So I think it was like 0.04 of a thou. So 0.4 thousandth of an inch was the actual gap that was needed, which is like a cigarette paper thickness.
Yeah.
So basically it was too far away, so the gap was just ridiculous.
So the crankshaft position sensor wasn't picking up where it was at TDC,
Yes.
so it
Yeah.
didn't know when to spark.
Yes, and it didn't want to spark.
Right.
So I took the casing off, brought them together, got my feeler blades out, got the gap properly to spec, tightened up the bolts again, and then tested the spark, and hey presto, sparkage.
Sparkage. So we had fuel, now we've got spark.
Yep. So the next problem that I wanted to address was my vacuum lines were absolutely shocking. I took one vacuum line off and it just went in my hand.
Yeah.
It just disintegrated.
Yeah.
So then I had to replace or repair-ish, because I got no fuel. I ain't got no vacuum line until next week. So if you can have a look,
Let's have a look at it.
it's a bit crap, but you can see I've got this vacuum line here. It's absolutely shite. I believe it was just a piece of pipe within a piece of pipe. You can see that there's a one-way valve there. So when the air actually flows through this,
It can't go back.
it can't go back on
Was
itself.
that standard part? Was it? Was
that bit is the standard part,
Yeah.
yeah. So on each one of these, there's these little valves here.
Right. Okay. So basically, there's no point spending loads of money if you don't know this. You know, if the engine's running or not. So you know, do what you can to save yourself a few bob, innit? Like.
Exactly.
So Adam's going to buy all new vac lines for it. You know, he has managed to get this bike started. Yep. So now he can go along with the restoration process of, you know, tidying up, you know, spraying the frame, spraying the wheels, new tyres.
Yep.
And then, you know, hopefully she will...
all new brakes.
All new brakes there. It's not a sponsored part, not a sponsored
Not
part.
a sponsored part, but...
Pyramid brakes.
Pyramid brakes, pyramid parts.
So all new brakes, and like the chain and sprockets are okay on it. So it just needs a bit of fettling now, like to get her up to the standard of UK's, you know, to get her on the road in the UK. So I don't know what it's going to be like, you know, if you're living in America and stuff, what the sort of standards are there. But we have to put these bikes for an MOT, don't we?
Most definitely.
Which is a basic check, really, just to make sure, like... Brakes, yeah, that's all they really check.
Brakes, fuel leak.
Fuel leaks, brakes. Obviously, emissions don't really come into motorcycles anyway, so you know they don't really check. But I think it's probably going to be coming soon, isn't it?
It will be coming soon.
Definitely.
I think bikes below a certain age,
yeah,
ain't gonna warrant having like a catalytic converter. But they are bringing. They have obviously started for a long time.
Yeah,
having catalytic converters actually on motorcycles now.
So this is what you're going to be expecting if you pick up a project on is it Marketplace? Facebook?
Marketplace.
The good old
Facebook
Marketplace. This is what you're going to be expecting. You know, of a bike this age. You know, go for the fuses. You know, check compression. Check you've got fuel in it to it, and you know, 9 times out of 10 these things will run, won't they?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. As long as you've got all the basics.
Yep.
Air, fuel.
So while Adam's running around putting the tank on here, we can we are going to give you a little bit of a start of the Triumph Triple. Now it's getting a bit later, so we have to be a little bit courteous of Adam's neighbours. We don't want to be causing.
Try to be.
Don't want to be causing no trouble. So stick around, and you're going to hear this puppy roar. Right, so we're going to give you a little start of the Triumph. So, Ads, what did you just have to do? You had to put all the fuel lines back on?
Yeah, fuel lines back on, connect all the fuel pump and vac lines and all the rest of the stuff that I've just taken off. Before you start these bikes, I've always found that the fuel rail doesn't really prime up very well. So what you need to do, you actually disconnect the top, this one here that I'm pointing at, the top fuel line.
Yep.
You put like a little screwdriver down into the point of that, turn them on, and he'll just go, and then he'll squirt the fuel. And then you just,
He's a jizzer.
It's a jizzer. And then put that back in, and then she should fire up fine.
Right, over to you. Right.
Hopefully.
What's your name? What's your name?
With these bikes, you have to pull in the clutch.
Yeah, so we've got a clutch inhibitor switch, so make sure you, and hopefully she should fire up. Fucking smoky boy.
Oh, no.
Right, so that's roughly about it for this video. If it's something you want to see, you know, see how far Adam comes with this, you know, do you want me to do like some updates to see how far he gets and stuff? Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it MOT'd? Do you want to see it back on the road for a little CBR versus 955R on the road? We could take it off for a little spin. So put your comments down below if you want me to come back and visit Adam again and you know, see what he's up to see if he can follow this one through right to the end. Thanks for watching. Cheers and gone.